Good morning students. We have already studied about the cell, its components and various function of the cell organelles. So today we have to study about the tissue, right? So our next lesson is tissues. So in this chapter we have to study about the plant tissues and the animal tissues. So before we discuss what are plant tissues, what are animal tissues, we will first we must know about what is tissues. So in previous chapter we have already studied about the cell. So cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life, right? In that chapter I told you that cell combines together and they are forming tissues. Tissues combine together and they are forming organ. Organ combine together, they are forming organ system. And finally the organism is formed, right? So we can say cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life, and group of cells are known as tissues. So tissues are the group of cells which are having a particular structure, they are performing a specific function and they are present at a particular place or particular location in the organism. Right, so we can say the cluster of cells which are performing a particular function are known as tissues. So in this chapter we have to study about the different plant tissues and the animal tissues. Right, so plant tissues and animal tissues are different from each other as their functions are different. Right, so plants are generally stagnant, they are not moving here and there, they are non-motile, they are stationary. Right, so they are standing at a particular position or a particular place. So they have to overcome all the critical conditions of the atmosphere, right? So they must have supportive tissues, or they must have the tissues which will give them the mechanical strength. But in case of animals, animals are moving here and there in search of food, shelter and their breeding grounds, right? So means they are active as compared to the plants. They are moving here and there. So their energy requirement is much larger as compared to the plants. So plants are generally made up of dead tissues because they need the mechanical strength, and the dead tissues are providing the mechanical strength, and other tissues which are living, they are giving the support to the plant, right? But in case of animals, as they need more amount of energy, most of the cells of the animals are living, or you can say the animal tissues are made up of living cells. There is one more difference between the plant tissues and the animal tissues. Plant tissues are generally, you can say, dividing, means they are dividing throughout their lives. But animal tissues, they are not dividing throughout their life. Up to certain age, they are dividing themselves, right? And after that, you can say the growth of that particular tissue will be stopped. Means, suppose if you are talking about the height of a person, right, it will increase up to certain age, means till the age of 18 the height will be going on increasing, right? After the development of each and every organ of our body, means when each and every organ of our body will be developed fully, then the cell division will be stop over there. So but in plants, there are certain tissues which are going on dividing throughout their lives, but this is not happening in case of animals. So this is the basic difference between the plant tissues and the animal tissues. Now we will discuss about the plant tissues in detail. Generally tissues are of two types, simple and complex. So simple tissues are generally made up of similar kind of tissues, and complex tissues are made up of more than one or two kind of cells, right? So tissues are divided into two categories. You can say plant tissues and animal tissues. Right? Today we have to discuss about the plant tissue only. So plant tissues are of two types. Meristematic and permanent. Right? So plant tissues are divided into meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues are of three types: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. Permanent tissues are divided into two categories: simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. Right? Simple tissues are further, means they are of three types: parenchyma. We are having two different types in parenchyma, that is chlorenchyma and arenchyma. Next is collenchyma, and the third one is sclerenchyma. Right? So these are the different types of simple permanent tissues. First one is the parenchyma. It is of two types: chlorenchyma and arenchyma. Second is the collenchyma. Third one is the sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is also of two types, that is fibers and sclerates. Is it clear? So mostly parenchyma and collenchyma are the living tissues. Sclerenchyma is a dead tissue. Now complex tissues, xylem and phloem are the two types of complex tissues. Xylem is having four different components, that is vessels, tracheids, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Then next is the phloem. Phloem is also having four different components, that is companion cells, seed tubes, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Right? So today we have to discuss about the plant tissues. So plant tissues are mainly divided into meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues. So meristematic tissues are the tissues which are having the capability to divide themselves throughout their life. Means they are having the capability of cell division. They will multiply themselves throughout their lives. They are divided into three groups: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. Means they are of three different types. On their location, means where they are present in the plant tissue, they have given their name. So apical meristem is the tissue which is present at the root apex and the shoot apex. Right? We will discuss one by one each and every tissues. So this is the flow chart for the plant tissues. Then permanent tissues are of two types: simple and complex. Simple tissues are mainly made up of similar kind of cells, and complex tissues are made up of different kind of cells. Means they are made up of more than one kind of cells. You can see that xylem is a complex tissue. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 components are there. Means xylem is made up of 4 different types of cells or 4 different components. Like that, phloem is also a complex tissue. It is also made up of 4 different components, that is sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Simple tissues are made up of similar kind of cells, means they are made up of only one kind of cell. So we are having 3 types, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma and collenchyma are living cells and sclerenchyma is a dead cell. In xylem, vessels, tracheids and xylem fibers, they are dead. Only xylem parenchyma is living. In the phloem, companion cells, sieve tubes and phloem parenchyma are living. Phloem fibers are dead. Right? So we will discuss each and every plant tissue in detail. First we will start with the meristematic tissues. Right? So meristematic tissues are the tissues which are having the capability to divide themselves throughout their lives. Right? So apical meristem Right. So roughly I have drawn the plant. So this is the shoot apex, right? And here we are having the roots. So apical meristems are generally present at the root apex and shoot apex. Right? Shoot means the part which is above the ground, means the part of a plant which is growing above the above the soil or above the ground is known as shoot, and the part which is growing under the soil or below the ground is known as root. Right? So apical meristem is generally present at the tip of the shoot apex. Okay, and it is also present at the tip of the roots. Right? So it is responsible for increasing the length of a plant. Its function is to increase the length. Means it is responsible for increasing the length. Is it clear? Then next we are having the intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem is present at the nodes or the internodes. They are present at nodes or internodes. They are present at root apex, root and shoot apex. Is it clear? So they are present at the nodes and the internodes. Nodes means the area from where the branches arises, or you can say nodes of leaf, means that is the petiole. Petiole is the part of a plant from which the leaf arises. Right? So they are present in the nodes and the internodes. Internodes means the gap, or you can say the area between the two nodes. Means this is node, right? So the area between the two nodes is known as internodes. So generally intercalary meristems are present at the nodes and the internodes. They are responsible for the growth of the branch. They are present at the petiole of a leaf, so they will give rise to the leaf and flowers, right? Next is the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is generally present at the lateral part, right? So it is present at the lateral parts of plant. Is it clear? It is responsible for the increase in girth or the width of a plant, means sidewise, right? Sidewise growth of plant is done by the help of lateral meristem. So lateral meristem is responsible for increasing the girth of the plant. It increasing the girth or width of a plant. So depending on their position in a plant, so meristematic tissues are divided into three: apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. We have discussed about their location and function. Apical meristem is present in the root and the shoot apex. They are responsible for increasing the length or height of a plant. Intercalary meristem is present at the nodes and the internodes. It is responsible for the growth of the branches, leaves and flowers. Lateral meristem is present in the lateral parts, means on the stem, right? On the trunk or the stem. So they are responsible for increasing the girth or width of a stem or roots. Okay, they are also present in the roots, and the width or the girth of the plant, stem and roots is done by the lateral meristem, means they will increase the width of the root and the stem. Is it clear? So these are the meristematic tissues. Next is the permanent tissues. So permanent tissues are the tissues which are formed by certain processes which are taking place in the meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues are having the capability to divide themselves throughout their life. After reaching certain age or after becoming mature, they stop their cell growth and they will convert themselves into a specialized tissue. They will present at a particular place. They will perform the specialized function. That process of the conversion of meristematic tissue into the permanent tissue is known as differentiation. So differentiation is the process by which the meristematic tissues are converted into the permanent tissues. Means after becoming mature means meristematic tissues which are present at different parts of a plant, right? They will become mature. They will stop their cell division after attaining a certain age or after reaching to maturity. They will convert themselves into a specialized tissue. They will present at a particular area and they will perform this specialized function, right? They are known as permanent tissues, and this process of conversion of meristematic tissues to the permanent tissues is known as differentiation, right? So now we will study about the permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are of two types, simple and complex, right? First we will study about the simple permanent tissue, right? So simple tissues are made up of similar kind of cells. They are made up of only one kind of cell. So simple tissues are of three types. First one is the parenchyma. So parenchyma is a type of simple permanent tissues. Parenchymatous cells are generally having dense cytoplasm. They are living, they are very active cells, right? So they are present everywhere in the plant. They are, you can say that the base of a plant is generally made up of parenchymatous cells, or that is made up of parenchyma, right? So these tissues are present everywhere in the plant. You can say in the root, in the shoot, in the leaves, in the flowers, in the fruits. It is present everywhere in the plant. So parenchyma tissues are having dense cytoplasm. They are having less or no vacuoles. Vacuoles are generally, you can say, absent in parenchyma. So we will see that this is the structure of the parenchyma. So parenchyma is a group of parenchymatous cells. They are made up of, their cell wall is made up of cellulose. They are having dense cytoplasm. Vacuoles are absent in them. They are forming the base of a plant. They are present everywhere in the plant. Intercellular space is generally absent in them. Intercellular space is present in them. So they are arranged in such a way that the intercellular space is present. Means the space between the two cells, that is known as intercellular space. So in the parenchyma parenchyma tissue, the intercellular space is present, right? So mostly parenchyma tissues are living. They are living. Is it clear? So they are made up of cellulose. Their cell wall is made up of cellulose, and it is very thin. Means cell wall is thin. They are having dense cytoplasm. Intercellular spaces are present. They are present everywhere in the plant. Their main function is storage and to give support to the plant, right? Next is, it is of two types, chlorenchyma and parenchyma. So chlorenchyma means when chlorophyll is present. Right? So parenchyma means the type of parenchyma, that is the chlorenchyma. It is containing the pigment chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green colored pigment which is present in the chloroplast. Right? So green colored pigment provides green color to the plants, and it helps in the photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the process of manufacturing of food by using the carbon dioxide, sunlight, water, right? In the presence of chlorophyll, photosynthesis can take place. If chlorophyll will not be there, then plants can't able to prepare their own food, right? So chlorophyll is a very important pigment for the synthesis of food. So chlorophyll is generally present in the chlorenchyma, and that is a type of parenchyma. So in the young plants, right? Generally in the young plants or the green plants, chlorenchyma is present. Next is the arenchyma. As the name suggests, aren means it is having air cavities. As it is having chlorophyll, it is having air cavities. Right? So because of this air cavities, it provides buoyancy to the aquatic plants. Aquatic plants can easily flow on the surface of water, right? So buoyancy, the parenchyma tissues are providing buoyancy to the aquatic plants. So because of this air cavities, they can easily float on the surface of the water. So these are the two different types of parenchyma tissues. First is the chlorenchyma, second is the parenchyma. Right? And chlorenchyma contains chlorophyll, which helps in the photosynthesis. Parenchyma contains air cavities, which provides buoyancy to the aquatic plants. Next is the chlorenchyma. It is also a living simple permanent tissues, right? Chlorenchyma is having means its cell wall is made up of cellulose and pectin. It is thickened at the corners. Right? So we can say chlorenchyma tissues are having the thickened corners, means you can see these corners are thickened due to the deposition of the cellulose and the pectin. Pectin is one kind of complex sugar, or you can say it is one type of carbohydrate. So by the deposition of the pectin and the cellulose at the corners of the chlorenchyma tissues are thickened, right? They are also living tissues, but they are not having intercellular spaces, and they are providing the flexibility to the plants, means they are providing support as well as flexibility to the plants. You have seen the green stem or the green branch of a plant or a tree. If you try to break it, right, it will not break easily. So that is the flexibility. So that flexibility is given by the chlorenchyma tissues. So the main function of the chlorenchyma tissue is to give the support or the mechanical strength or the flexibility to the plants. Means they are providing the mechanical strength and the flexibility to the plant, right? Next is the sclerenchyma. The third type of simple permanent tissue is the sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is a dead tissue, right? Simple permanent tissues are of three types: parenchyma, chlorenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma and chlorenchyma are living. Sclerenchyma is dead tissue, right? It is not containing protoplasm. Mainly the dead tissues are not having any protoplasm. So these cells are you can say pointed at the, means they are having the pointed ends. Their cell wall is made up of lignin. So their cell wall is very thick due to the deposition of the lignin. You can see in the diagram that this is the thick lignified cell wall. They are having very thin lumen. Lumen means the internal part. As they are not having any cytoplasm, their internal part is shrinked, or you can say it's very thin. So they are having thin lumen. This is lumen, thin lumen, and they are having thick lignified cell wall. Means their cell wall is made up of lignin and it is very thin. These are dead tissues, so protoplasm is absent in them. They are having the pointed ends, means they are tapered at the ends. They are dead, so dead tissues are mainly providing the mechanical strength to the plant, right? So they are generally present at the veins, you can say the veins of the leaves, then in the seed coat, in the outer covering of the coconut, right? So sclerenchyma is of two types, that is fibers and sclerates. Right? So fibers, you have seen the coconut, right? So coconut fibers we are removing and then we are having the hard coating of the coconut. So every seed, means it's if it is apple seed or a chiku seed, you have seen the hard outer covering around the seed. That is made up of sclerates. So the harder coat of any seed is made up of sclerates. And fibers, so coconut fibers you have seen, so that are the sclerenchyma fibers, right? So these are the dead tissues. They are mainly providing the mechanical strength to the plant, and also they are responsible for the protection. Means generally sclerates means hard seed coat of each and every means hard coating around the seed is made up of sclerates. So coconut is also having a hard covering that is made up of sclerates. Around the sclerates they are having fibers which are known as sclerenchyma fibers, right? So we have discussed about the permanent tissues. In that we have discussed about the simple permanent tissues. They are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, right? We have discussed about their function and location. Now we will discuss about the complex tissues. Complex permanent tissues are the tissues which are made up of different types of cells. They are of two types, xylem and phloem. Xylem is having four components: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Right? Out of these four components, this is dead, this is dead, this is living, this is live, this is also dead. So we can say that xylem is mostly made up of dead components. Out of four components, only one is living, rest of the three are dead. right? So the main function of xylem is the conduction of water and minerals. It is conduction of water and minerals. It is the main function of xylem, right? So the conduction of water and minerals is done by xylem. So it is present in the stem, right? The root hairs, they are taking the water, and through the xylem it is reaching to each and every part of the plant. You can say flow of xylem. In the root, you can say small root hairs are present which are absorbing water from the soil, right? Then xylem is conducting this water and mineral, and it is reaching to each and every part of the plant. Means water and mineral will be reached to each and every part of the plant through the xylem. So the flow of xylem is always unidirectional. Means the water and minerals are moving only in the upward direction. It will never come from the top to the bottom. Means it will always move upside, from bottom to top. Means from soil to the tip of the plant. So that's why we are saying that the flow of xylem is unidirectional. It is moving in one direction only. So xylem is conducting water and minerals from the soil, and it will pass it on, or it will transport it to each and every part of the plant, right? Main components of xylem are trichids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Out of these four components, three are dead. The main function of xylem is the conduction of water and minerals, and the flow of xylem is unidirectional, right? So these are the characteristic features of the xylem. Now we will discuss about the phloem. Phloem is also made up of four different components, that is seed tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers, right? So these four components are the components of phloem. So seed tubes are living, companion cells are living, this is also living. So we can say that phloem is made up of living components. Only phloem fibers are dead, right? The main function of the phloem is the translocation. Translocation means the transportation of the food to the each and every part of the plant. So green leaves are the food factories in the plants. You all know that the green plants are manufacturing the food for the plants, right? So most of the photosynthesis process is carried out in the green leaves. So whatever the food will be prepared in the green leaves by the process of photosynthesis will be transferred to each and every part of the plant, right? So phloem is conducting the prepared food to each and every part of the plant, right? If we are talking about the flow of the phloem, right, it is bidirectional. It is moving upside also, and it is moving downside also. So you can say that whatever the food is prepared in the green leaves will go to each and every part of the plant. It will come to the stem also, it will come to the roots also. Some vegetables you have seen that they are the roots, like the elephant root. Okay, so whatever the food is prepared, right? They will stored in that particular area. Potato is a stem, so that food will be stored in the stem. So whatever the food is prepared in the green leaves, it will transport to each and every part of the plant, right? So the flow of the phloem is bidirectional. It will move in upside also, means in the upside direction as well as in the downward direction. So this is the main difference between the xylem and the phloem. The main function of xylem is the conduction of water. The main function of phloem is the transportation of food. Xylem is mainly made up of dead tissues. Phloem is mainly made up of living tissues. The flow of xylem is unidirectional and the flow of phloem is bidirectional. Right? So this is the difference between the xylem and the phloem. So here we have completed the plant tissues. Now we will discuss about the animal tissues. So before we discuss with the animal tissue, we will discuss about the protective tissues which are present in the plants. So plants are generally, you can say, they are stagnant, they are not moving here and there, right? So they means the tissues of plants are providing them the support and the mechanical strength. We have discussed about each and every tissues present in the plant, but there is a one protective layer around the plant tissues which is protecting them. That is the epidermis. We can say epidermal tissue. It is the layer of, you can say, very thin cells. Single layer of these cells are present around the plant which is protecting them. So if we will see the leaf, right? So in the structure of a internal structure of leaf, we are having the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis. So epidermis is a one type of protective layer which is present around the plant tissues. They are protecting the internal tissues, right? So these epidermal cells are made up of single layer of cells. They are very close to each other. They are not having any intercellular spaces, means they are tightly packed. They are very close to each other as their main function is the protection, right? They are providing the support and the mechanical strength or the protection to the plants. So this epidermis is having a, means it is sometimes in the desert plants, right? So in the plants which are growing in the desert, they are growing in a scarcity of water, right? So whatever the water is present in them, that has to be stored or that has to be prevented by the water loss. So for preventing that water loss, they are having a one waxy coating around them that is known as cuticle. One waxy coating is present around the epidermis that is known as cuticle, which is preventing the plant by the water loss, right? And this epidermal layer is also protecting the plant by the invasion of the parasite fungi. Means it will not allow the entry of any parasites, or you can say it will not allow the entry of any foreign microorganism. So epidermis is a protective layer which is present around the plant tissues. It is also present in the, means everywhere, right? So leaf, we are talking about the leaf. So the waxy coating present in the leaf is known as cuticle. It is leaf is having upper epidermis and the lower epidermis. This is upper epidermis. In the lower epidermis, in the leaf, you can say bean-shaped cells are present, which are known as guard cells. So you can say here bean-shaped cells are present, and one small opening is there. These are guard cells, and small opening is there, which is known as stomata. Right? So stomata is present at the lower epidermis of a leaf. It is a small opening in the lower epidermis which allows the exchange of gases. Means whatever the gas is required by the plant. Means plant needs carbon dioxide and oxygen. Is it clear? So plants respire by taking by taking oxygen. Plants are taking oxygen during respiration and they are giving out carbon dioxide. And from the atmosphere they are taking the carbon dioxide during daytime, right, to carry out photosynthesis. So these two gases are needed by the plants for their growth, right? So this exchange of gases means carbon dioxide and oxygen are exchanged, or they will enter into the plants, or they will exit through the plant, from the plant through the stomata. So stomata is the small opening under the leaf. So it is helping in the exchange of gases. It is also helping in the process of transpiration. So transpiration is the process of losing water in the form of water vapor. So leaves lose the water in the form of water vapor. That process is known as transpiration. Transpiration is important for keeping the plants cool. So when we go under heavy exercise, means when we carry out any heavy exercise, right, we start sweating, and after that our body feel cool, right? So the same process is happening in the plants. When there is the loss of water in the leaf because of the transpiration, the suction pull is there, and because of that suction pull, xylem starts transporting water and minerals to each and every part of the plant, right? So transpiration is the process of losing water in the form of water vapor. It helps in keeping the plant cool, right, and also the surrounding. So stomata is the small opening which is present in the plant, or you can say in the leaf, in the lower epidermis. The upper epidermis is having a waxy coating which is made up of cuticle, right? Then in the older plants, when the plant will become older, right, the stem of the plant is covered by some protective tissues, that is the cork. So in the old plants, the outer epidermis is removed by certain cells, or you can say the internal tissues is separated by the outer tissues, okay, and we are having a bark and the cork, which is also one kind of protective tissue, right? Cork is containing a pigment which is known as suberin. as epidermis is containing a waxy layer which is known as cuticle. When in the cork we are having suberin. It is helping in the transporting different substances, means exchange of gases and the moisture, right? Cork and bark are the dead tissues. They are protecting the plant, older plants, right? So they are having certain chemical which is known as suberin. It makes the gases and the moisture impervious, means it will allow the entry of the carbon dioxide, oxygen and moisture inside the plant, right? So these are the protective tissues. We are having epidermal layer, or it is also known as epidermis. Then cork and bark. In the older plants, cork and bark are present, which are also protecting the plant tissues. So here we have completed the plant tissues. Afterwards we will discuss about the animal tissue.